Hey, welcome to another episode of ENTA Asks, where we hear epic stories from great people about the businesses that you want to work with.
Click below and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Or if you want to be on our show and tell your epic story, our link to get on our show is in the description below.
Hello and welcome to another episode of ENTA Asks. I'm Adam Colazetti.
And I'm Caitlin Bullock, and today we have with us Jeff Griffiths from Workforce Strategies International. He is the CCG, which stands for Chief Competency Geek. And I love it. We're geeks.
Yeah.
We love that.
So let's geek out a little bit.
We're going to geek out here. In the last episode, we talked about covert ops. Okay. We talked about some sports analogies. What else?
Some good hockey,
Oh,
pass the puck, right?
Olympics. We can all relate to that.
And some real life examples of how Jeff and Workforce Strategies have helped real companies.
Huge ROIs.
Right?
Huge. So check out those episodes if you haven't seen it. Today, we're going to talk about a little bit about the future of Workforce Strategies International. Right. And as well, we want to talk about this concept that you can only coast downhill. Mm-hmm. So what do you mean by that?
Well, it's not my term.
That's okay.
Another consultant used it in a meeting I was at the other day, and it was brilliant. But it's about, you can only coast downhill. Even on a plateau, you can only coast for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So organizations constantly need to be looking for whatever that next thing is, whatever that next growth phase is. I mean, we're no different.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, and improvement takes imagination, takes creativity. It's risky, which is, as entrepreneurs, that's what we love. Mm-hmm. We thrive on it. But it's way easier just to coast.
Right? Yeah.
I think we see that a lot here. Companies they've done so well. They found it. They found their niche. The economy's right. They just kind of got it, and then they coast. And I don't even think they realize that they're coasting.
No.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean you're not busy.
Oh.
Right? You're super busy.
Really busy, and you're oftentimes too busy to innovate.
Right.
And so, there was again, I'll use somebody else's thing. This is a quote from a book by a guy named James Champy.
Okay.
Back in the 80s, re-engineering was a thing. Okay.
Right.
It's a bad word now, but it was a thing back then. But he talked about re-engineering management, and there's kind of three types of companies that'll do it. Right? There's the ones that have spun out of control, hit the wall, and they're lying there bleeding on the ground, and you've got to do something or the patient will die. Oh. You have to, the other ones are the ones that are, they're spinning out of control. They haven't hit the wall yet.
Yeah.
But they know they're going to. But if they get the right steering input, they'll glance off the wall and the damage won't be so bad.
Yeah.
But the best companies are the ones that are cruising along, the sun's out, the road is great, and they go, hey, you know what? It's time to set up a wall.
Let's see what happens.
So to see who else can run into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And organizations that are on that are doing that growth phase, that are trying always to figure out, how do I set up a wall behind me for other people to run into?
Right.
Will always stay ahead. And they have that innovation culture in place.
And I think that's the whole concept of good being the biggest impediment to great.
It is.
Right? And
Absolutely.
we talk about the good to great book and what that takes to make that shift. And you help do that by getting people, outside of their comfort zones. And we talked a little bit about that. So how are you at Workforce Strategies? How are you guys getting outside of your comfort zone? Because you got to practice what you preach, right?
Indeed. And we're relatively new.
Okay.
We formed up in 2019, which is a collaboration between three existing companies.
Okay.
So we joined forces because we figured we could do more and provide a better level of service together than we could separately.
Because you have more competencies.
More competencies and a broader range of people. So we set up Workforce Strategy back in February of 2019.
Okay.
And so there's myself, there's another partner, there's another ex-military guy, South African military,
nice.
and one of the refugees from the oil patch. and the other one who was actually an MBA student that I mentored at the U of C when he was a student there, and I started giving him odd jobs to do, and eventually now he's running his own consulting company, and now he's a full partner in Workforce Strategies. So it's a really eclectic blend of talent and that. And we're constantly looking for that next thing. So we've done work with big industry organizations and things. We're doing more and more work directly with individual companies, again, all based on this idea of competency-based talent management approaches. And we're also looking at other services that we can provide. Those companies that are at that stage where this is more than you can do in your head or on a spreadsheet, right? So we're creating alliances with a couple of different software companies now to offer those, active talent management, competency management systems, so they can then leverage the results in larger organizations. So that's our next thing, and we're moving into that this fall.
Very cool.
So you'll be ready this fall, or you're just, what phase are you in?
We're kind of pre-launch right now.
Okay.
We expect that late fall or into the beginning of next year, we'll be ready to offer this service full blown to the industries. And the analogy we use is like there are companies that are big enough to use, the full-blown ERP, SAP type systems.
Sure.
Yeah.
There are companies that are small enough that you can do it on the back of an envelope or in your head. And then there's everybody else. And in Canada, that's about 80% of the market.
80% of the market.
Right? And those are the people we want to help, because we think that by actively managing this stuff, using software tools to accelerate what you're doing, we can make these gains for those companies even faster.
Even faster. That's amazing.
Well, sounds fantastic. We should talk. That's what we love, right? We love pushing the envelope. We recently implemented like StrengthsFinder into stuff that we're doing. Yeah. So sounds fantastic.
We're always outside of our comfort zone.
Right?
And that's good, right?
Good.
Everybody should come to work every day being a little bit uncomfortable.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right?
Constantly.
And again, because I read a lot, but there was an organization down in the States, and their mantra was, if you're 10 out of 10 in your performance review every year, well, you're in the wrong job.
Right.
And if you're comfortable being 10 out of 10, you're in the wrong company. So they want everybody every day to come in and look, what's that next step? How do I push myself? What am I going to learn today? And like I said, that's makes for a so much better place to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny, because I really struggled not being 10 out of 10, right? Because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I don't know if you knew that.
No comment.
So like that, for me as an employee, I'd be angry if I wasn't like perfect, but I should have been.
You always got to be pushing outside that comfort zone,
right?
And growth comes when you step out of comfort, right? Nothing changes without stress.
There's a line from the book Grit by Angela Duckworth, and she talks about everyone in her family has to have one hard thing. You have to have one hard thing. Doesn't matter what it is. You have to see it through to the end. It has to be really hard for you to do.
Yeah, and the growth that comes out of that makes the next hard thing easy. Right. And it becomes a habit.
That's why your second kid is, that doesn't translate.
But I mean, it's again, we talked in one of the other episodes about this idea of the zone of proximal development.
Yeah.
If you can put your entire organization from the top to the bottom always in that zone, the growth and in terms of productivity, quality, competitiveness, profitability, and everything, it's logarithmic acceleration in that kind of an environment.
And they don't have to be in that zone for every aspect of their job, right?
Well, you don't want them to be.
That's too much stress.
No.
Just one little tweak here, one little bit here, and you keep going, and the increments. Yeah,
we looked at, Gallup does their surveys every year on employee engagement, and you look at those surveys, and and it's terrifying, right? 65-70% of people are not at work when they're at work.
Yeah.
They need a shed and an air conditioner. Right?
Yeah, but we look at that and you cross-reference those numbers against where people are, and the people who are least engaged at work are young kids with lots of education, because they come to work and no one makes them use their heads.
Right.
And the people who are most engaged at work are people with potentially less education, but are having to stretch and learn every day.
Right.
So it's constant putting people into that position with the support structure around them. It's not sink or swim.
Yeah.
But allowing them to learn their way to solutions as an organization drives organizational performance. You know, and if you want, people always talk about how do you engage the millennials? Give them something to do that uses all of the skills
Right.
that they have, and give them an opportunity to learn further. Right? And so we're trying to do that ourselves internally with our companies. I said in one of the episodes, I have a coach.
Yeah.
My coach has a coach. My coach's coach has a coach. We're always trying to push that envelope. We want to bring people in who are good and help them become better.
Yeah.
And every organization, I think, needs to be doing that. And when you do that, it's fun coming to work.
Awesome.
I love that.
So we have talked about so much through all of these episodes, and we really appreciate your time. We're looking forward to this software solution that comes and even accelerates even further. Right? You're the first accelerant. You guys are coming up with another one. That's amazing. How can companies get a hold of you?
Directly through our website at workforcestrat.com. Or they can email me, jeff@workforcestrat.com, and we'd be glad to carry on the conversation.
Awesome. Well, guys, it's time to amplify your results. Click below, contact Jeff, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, can I get a mic drop?
That was so
Epic. Join us next time on ENTA Asks.